happens. This meeting is being live streamed. They put up a bunch of warnings now to let me know that I hit record by accident on purpose. All right. Welcome, everybody, to today's...
There we go.
Oh, that was loud. All right. Welcome to today's meeting of the Rotary Club of Harleysville. We normally start our meetings off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, today is the second day of June, 2021, and we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
Of
the
the
United States of America
and to the
to the
republic
republic
for which
which
it
stands
one
nation,
nation, under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as Rotarians, we try to live our lives through the four-way tests, it's the four-way test of the things that we should think, say, and do in our everyday lives, and that is one.
Is it
true?
truth?
Is it
fair
fair
to all
concerned?
Will it
Will it
build
build
goodwill and better
friendships?
and will it be
beneficial to all concerned?
And for today's reflection, I understand we have an inspirational poem from Marcia Poust.
Thanks. Many of you may know this. This is an Irish blessing. May there always be work for your hands to do. May your purse always hold a coin or two. May the sun always shine upon your window pane. May a rainbow be certain to follow each rain. May the hand of a friend always be near to you, and may God fill your heart with gladness to cheer you.
Oh, that's nice.
Excellent. That's a good one. That is good. And this is the first week in June. I neglected to do a few things the past few meetings. Last month was the AAPI Heritage Month, and I didn't have a clip or any pictures or any stories to share on that. This month, I figured it's June 2nd. I'll throw in two very important observances, and one is that June is Pride Month. That's for the LGBTQ community, as well as African American Music Appreciation Month, which I love music, and R&B is one of my favorites. So if you can, please observe as much as you can for other people in our communities. We have a few guests on, and one is our DGE, Bob Hobaugh. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Dan. Good to see you.
All right, good seeing you as well. And I don't know if are you a member emeritus, Jack Brent?
I would hope so.
All right, there you go. And Jack Brent from North Carolina.
Thank you.
Welcome. Are there any other guests that I neglected to see or recognize? All right. So I think there was a conversation going on about if there are any members that would want to volunteer to do their classification speech. If you have done it recently, I think most of our new members have done it, except for the one that's going to be going today. But there are some people that I've been a member for almost 5 years, and there are some that I haven't seen your classification talk yet. But if you want to volunteer, that's great. And I think Mark is pretty good with the power of persuasion. So if they don't volunteer, at least for the next 3 weeks, I know next week is going to be a pretty full meeting. So if you don't get any volunteers, maybe reach out and, that would be great to hear their stories about their Rotary journey. And with that being said, today our classification talk will be with one of our newest Rotarians, Lisa Martin. Lisa Martin will give her classification talk. Lisa is, I think, in charge of marketing and business development at the Montgomeryville Costco.
Yep.
Lisa, are you the manager, director? What is your
position? No. I just do business development and marketing. I mean, you wouldn't know that with all the other stuff I do, but that really is my job classification.
Awesome. So you may not have seen a classification talk, but we're going to give you about 10 minutes to talk
Yeah,
about
thanks, Mark.
your. There you go. Was it 10 minutes, Mark? Did you tell her 10? Uh,
If she wanted to go 15, I got no problem with that. I like hearing from her.
Excellent, excellent. Our very vibrant member, Lisa Martin.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. So Mark kind of gave me a layout of what to talk about and how to go about it. So uh, one of it was the reasons for joining the Rotary Club. So of course, Gary Volpe was very involved with that with me. And then I did a lot of research. And in this diverse nation that we have in world right now, I saw where the Rotary's not only reaching out locally, but into the world. And we need that. We need to be able to give back to our communities and give back to other countries and help our other countries. I have two boys that live in Africa, so I'm very well versed of what goes on there. My other son had lived in Zimbabwe for a while, Harar, which is a very, very, very poor area in Africa. So I just see a lot of major possibilities for me to give back. Even if I was to retire from Costco, I could still continue on a personal level. So I really appreciate everything you do. And I'm really looking forward to learning more on a regular basis about the Rotary. I'm still kind of new to it. So, and what I'm liking best about this group right now is the diversity. The speakers that we've had have been really amazing for me. I've learned so much and became aware of so many things that I never was before. So I really do appreciate that. So what I do now is I do business development and marketing for Costco. What that means is I do a lot of community outreach, but also my job is to drive memberships and to get new members into Costco. It's really not that hard of a task. It's pretty easy for the most part. A lot of traveling involved, a lot of meetings involved. But what I love about this Costco is how my general manager is so into giving back to the community on a regular basis. I chose Costco after meeting the CEO of Costco like 25, 30 years ago in California. I was working for another company at that time, but I happened to meet him. And I thought, wow, and I did checking. Of course, I waited till I was the age of 51 to actually come work for them. And at the time, I think I was like 30. But great company to work for, great to its employees, its vendors, and its members. And it has a great business plan. A lot of what I do is super rewarding because I see my work out there in the community and what comes back to me, not only with the thanks, but with helping a family, man on Main Street, all kinds of nonprofits. So it's great. I think the most difficult part for me in this job at times is that I have to learn to say no when I get spread too thin. Hence why it took me a while to join the Rotary, because I was on several boards of nonprofits and I needed to be able to commit to the Rotary on a like all the time, like not just like, oh, let me fly in, let me fly out, that type of thing, and be able to really give back. That was very, very important to me. So a little bit of my background: I am the oldest of 6 children, 4 boys, 2 girls. Um, I was born in Doylestown, but raised in New Britain Borough. My father, who's 90 years old, still lives in the house that I was raised in, which is amazing to me, but I love it. He's not that far from me, but he's still kicking at 90. I learned a lot of my giving back from the community from my mother, who has since passed. My father never wanted my mother to work, so her idea was to give back. We didn't have any money. We lived in a 3-bedroom rancher. My dad was a butcher. He used to work side jobs. And my mom got involved in the VIA of Doylestown Hospital. And it kind of grew from there. And as I got older, she had me doing things and joining to the point where we both were on the board. My mother ran the welfare fund committee for the hospital, which was giving back to people in need. I learned a great deal from my mother from that, and had a real eye-opening experience of people that were in need. I think a lot of us forget or aren't aware, or we stick our head in the sand and say, wow, it's not so bad out there, but it is. And it's gotten worse, what's happening in our country right now. So it's important to me. It's kind of like having my mother's legacy live on by giving back and doing things like that. Growing up as a kid, she was always taking somebody in, always feeding somebody dinner, having somebody spend the night, driving people all over. So I miss her, but it has taught me a lot of um, the giving back part, you know. And let's see. Okay, so I grew up in New Britain Borough. I've lived in the area all my life. I basically lived in New Britain Township for the majority of it. I lived in Newtown for a little while I was traveling. At the tender age of 16, I graduated from school, got a job with a Fortune 500 company, worked my way up to the age of 27 to become a VP. Quite interesting. And retired at the age of 41. I had traveled enough. I had adopted 3 children, had 1 biological child, and I was a single parent. And I needed to be around for the kids. So I have 2 boys. They are twins that I adopted that are the age of 45 that live in Africa. One of them right now is a project manager building an embassy in Maputo. And his twin brother works for the Department of State, and he's a cleared American Guard. So he watches the locals as they build that American embassy. My biological child is 40 years old. He has a son, and he has a grandson. So I am a great-great-grandmother, which I'm a little concerned about at the age of 65, but I deal with it. He's 3 years old. He's just a love. I really do enjoy them. My grandson moved like 2 blocks from me, so we get to interact a lot, which is really, really great for me. So anyway, after I left my Fortune 500 company, I decided I was going to become a mortgage broker because I had gone through the process several times and was kind of shocked at how you could qualify, if you remember in those years, in the early 2000s, no docs, you didn't have to verify things. People were getting 110% mortgages. So I became a mortgage broker. And I didn't give out loans like that. I was approached actually it was late of 2007 when Obama was running for president with Joe Biden, about coming on to the Department of Justice and the Department of Treasury. My background was in finance, and they had saw that I didn't have any foreclosures, that I was pretty strict. I was by the book. At that time, I didn't accept the position because I really wasn't sure what they were talking about or what it all involved. They were kind of vague about it, as usual. That's where our government is. So when he got elected in 2008, I was approached again, and I said, give me the job parameters, which did change throughout the 4 years. But I basically went in and investigated mortgage brokers, bankers, and then we would go in and close them. So if you remember in 2008, 2009, I would go to California, Countrywide Mortgage. Some people think that that's a glamorous position to have. I can tell you it's a horrible position to have. To walk into a building and get rid of hundreds and hundreds of employees, that some of them were truly not responsible for what their company was doing, but they ended up losing their jobs in the meantime. It became very dangerous for me, to the point where I had to have Secret Service with me when I would do this. I was not the only person doing it. There was a team of 12. I cannot say that it was my finest hour in life. People think, oh, you got to know the president and all that. That's not all that's involved. The political aspect of it, I'm not going to go into all of that. The personal aspect of it was the person that I thought I was becoming, of helping people. Yes, was I helping people by taking supposedly the bad guys out of the picture? Yes. But then hurting people when they couldn't be employed. At that point, I decided that, okay, I'll have to deal with this, but I'm also want to change the laws and the rules and the regs of the industry. And it is the one thing that myself and the other members did accomplish. As you know, all the new mortgage rules came into play. After my third year, I was approached, that they were running again. And I actually opted out and said, no, I'm sorry. I'm not a government girl. I'm not a yes person. I do go against the grain. I speak my mind, as most of you would probably know at this point. At that point, they were opening up the Costco in Warminster. And a friend of mine got a hold of me and said, hey, why don't you try that out? You can have benefits, walk away from the government, work a 40-hour work week, be able to spend time with your family. So that's what I did. And I've been with them ever since. I love it. For the most part, there's still always politics involved in every job. I was traveling a lot for them at that point. When I turned 62, I said, either you put me close to home or I'm going to retire. So that's how I ended up here in Montgomeryville, which is really my stomping ground. Montgomeryville, Doylestown, Chalfont, born and raised, done all kinds of stuff there. Educational background. My company, I was fortunate enough that they paid for my education. I have 2 master's degrees from Penn State, which I can tell you from experience, you can have all the degrees in the world. If you don't have common sense, and if you don't apply some of it, you can apply to life. But life's experiences and people that you meet, and if you're open-minded and you learn, I think that's what helps you become successful, not just, having those degrees. I am still not married, do not want to be married, trying to take care of my kids and my grandkids. I moved recently to Telford. I actually saw Chief Floyd last night. He said, oh, Lisa, you got to bring on your A game today for your meeting. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, Chief. Really appreciate that. That's a different environment for me from New Britain Township and New Britain Borough and Doylestown, but it's okay. And some of my hobbies. So I love horseback riding, but I've had to give that up as I've gotten older, because I used to rope and rein and calf and barrel race. Avid swimmer, love to swim, was on Fanny Chapman's swim team. So I really like doing that. It also keeps you healthy on top of it. Let's see. And then something, it was kind of funny, Mark, when I read this, something that no one knows about you. And I'm thinking, okay. So I don't know if anybody knows. I had bought a farm in New Britain Township, and it had 80 acres. I decided to take 60 acres of that, donate it to the county of Bucks, under the stipulation that it be leased back to New Britain Township for 100 years at no price, and that it would be built into a park that would be named after the veterans. So I have a very, very heavy veteran background in my family. I actually was engaged to someone that was killed in Vietnam. My brother was in the Navy. My father was in the Navy. My uncle was a prisoner of war. My grandfather, who is from Europe, also was in the military over there. So it's called Veterans Park. Phase 1 is done so far. It's off of the corner of New Galena Road in New Britain Township. So if you get an opportunity, go by. It's really nice. We've got, the walking grounds, and we're going to start phase 2. It's probably one of my biggest accomplishments, and it's a way of giving back to the men and the women that have fought for this country and given their lives, which we wouldn't be where we are today without them. So, any questions? Oh, thank you.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Any questions for Lisa?
How do you have time to do all this?
It's not easy, Marcia. I mean, to be honest with you, my day started yesterday. I got up at 4:00 in the morning because I have to do stuff with the boys. They're coming home. By the time I got home last night after my last event, it was 9:00. So today's going to be a tired day, and I'll be out of here early today, thank God. But I've made some other commitments. But you just, sometimes I just have to go, no, I can't do that. I'm too tired, or I don't have the time. I'm learning as I'm getting older to balance those things out better.
Wow, that's definitely you have an amazing story, Lisa. I have a question.
Sure.
Actually, a comment. I noticed you said two of your three sons work for the State Department. How were they growing up? Did you take them along with you? Like sometimes when you were at state.
No, actually, their father, who I was not married to, we were just the best of friends. He traveled all over the world. He was an international consultant. So I think the boys kind of got that international travel from him. But they got the give back part probably more from me. They will both stand and tell you that I was one of the strictest moms they could ever possibly have. I mean, trying to raise 4 kids, 4 boys, is not an easy task. And they were difficult because they were twins, and they used to just get in so much trouble together at times. But they love what they do. Michael, my project manager he's lived in Taipei. He's been in the Philippines. He's in Africa. John has been in Africa. He was in Ankara, Turkey, and now he's back in Africa. Their project, they're coming home in about 2 weeks. They're going to be home for about 2 weeks because they haven't been able to come home because of COVID. But I think a lot, they learned a lot when I was with the government. They weren't privy to certain things, like nobody ever could, but they kind of got it. And yes, John definitely got his job, probably because of my connections with the Department of State. But the best thing could ever happen to him, They're both single. They don't want to get married. I'm like, that's because you have a mother that takes care of you.
There you go. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Lisa?
I'm still trying to get my head wrapped
Gary.
around Lisa being on a horse and roping a calf. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you jump off the horse and then you
Mm-hmm.
you did that.
I did it for almost 20 years.
Oh my, that's incredible.
I It was something to do, Gary. The problem was when I was traveling all the time, you know, I didn't like going out to restaurants and bars and all that kind of stuff. I needed an activity. My job was really rough, and I happened to be in the Midwest, and that's where it started. And I just took lessons all the time, and it was fun for me. I mean, it wasn't like a super competition, you know. I would do things every now and again, but you can find in almost every state there is in the United States, you can find a club that does Western and does that kind of stuff, and they'll let you in if you're coming to visit.
Wow.
Yep. But it was fun. I'm too old for that now, Gary. I'm not going to be jumping off any horses.
Lisa, tell us, remind us again how you became friends with Jill Biden.
I met her before she ever knew Joe. Yes. She was at Abington Hospital at the time. We ran into each other, hit it off, and have been friends ever since. She's one of the most down-to-earth women I've ever met. Extremely educated. As far as I'm concerned, she worked her way through with Joe, getting her doctorate. And she is a type of woman that if you are friends with her, true friends, she always has your back. She always has your back. And I the same for her. We just don't get involved in a lot of the political stuff. That's not what we talk about. We talk about the people that, you know, we have in our lives that we, you know, have known or we've lost, or, you know, because we've lost a lot the past couple of years. People from our age, either cancer or COVID, and depression. Depression's been a big issue for a lot of people right now.
Dean?
Yes, Lisa, I've been in banking for 42 years, and I remember the fiascos and lending money at 124% of your value. And I'm saying this isn't going to work long run. Were you part of the RTC?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So does the name Red Hill Savings ring a bell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 It was a shame, Dean, that, you know, it got to that point. And as you well know, you were involved in it. You know, that came from greed, a lot of that. And a lot of people suffered from those decisions. A lot of people suffered. My fear is that what's going on right now with the inflation of homes, that we're going to see a similar outcome to that. I think I made the statement when Sharon Cares was talking that I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for us. That we're gonna have some rough waters down the road. From my past experience, and I'm sure Dean yours also, with the banking industry, the mortgage industry, and the housing industry. So we all have to stay strong and supportive of our communities and help our people get through that.
Yeah, we'll see another bubble here.
Yes, I think so.
Hopefully we'll never see 20% prime rate again.
Oh my God, no. No.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Bob, and then Carol. Bob, did you have a question? Look like you unmuted yourself. Sorry.
No, I'm fascinated by this, Lisa. And if I'm given the floor, I'm just going to say that I was a part of the mortgage industry too back in 2008, and it was a 6-month sleepless period. I did something called asset securitization, and I did whole loan trades. I foisted off a good number of them just at the last minute so that my clients survived, and I will tell you that other institutions failed. It was a frightening time. Mm-hmm. But you know, I'm really impressed by your classification talk, and I'm glad I was here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for joining. Lisa, DGE is district governor elect. So next year, Bob will be the district governor. Throwing acronyms out there. Sorry about that. All right, Carol.
Oh, I just want to thank Lisa for talk and hope that at some point we can meet and I get to know Lisa better. I'm amazed at all the stuff she's done. I totally love what you did with the property and veterans. I'm a military brat, Army brat, 21 and a half years in the service my dad did, grandparents, aunts, uncles. So the vets are near and dear to my heart, but I would love to get to know you better and just hear of your stories. Love to hear some more of your stories.
Thank you.
Yes.
Have you been to the park, Carol? The Veterans Park there? Or no?
Actually, I do think I know exactly where you're talking about. I don't know that I've actually been in the park, but I've definitely driven past it.
It's the one at the corner of Walters and New Galena is the first part that started.
Yeah, I've definitely driven past it. I haven't stopped and been there, but maybe take my grandkids there one of the days I have them.
Right.
But yeah, vets are near and dear to my heart. I'm always gonna have a heart for them.
Great, thank you.
We have no country.
Yep.
Frank and then John. Frank and John.
Yeah, Lisa, with I know this isn't a mortgage per se, but I've always been concerned with the college loans, giving out money to kids who are going into areas or occupations, getting the thing, and there are no way they can pay back the kind of loans they're getting, and nobody seems to sit there and analyze that and say, look, if you're going to be a teacher, you're buying the average teacher salary isn't that great. We do have some around here that are very nice, but and they're going to go in there and they're going to take out 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 that they're going to be in loans. It's going to take them the rest of their lives ever to pay that back. And somebody sits there and says, no, we can only give you so much if that's what you're going to do and where you're going. Or if they're going to be in, again, like education, why go to Columbia and pay, 60, 70,000 a year when you can go to a state college, and it just doesn't seem that anybody, gives them any advice or sits down and lets them know what they're getting into. And it's a shame. Now they want free. They want to be let go of their loan. Well, somebody gave them that money. You got to pay back.
The problem being is that a lot of the schools advocated not for the trades. Okay. Like all my brothers work in trades. My sister and I are the only ones that have college educations because my mother felt we would never get anywhere in life without that. But the banks don't care when they're giving out those school loans. There is certain banks now that are condensing school loans and giving them to them at a lower rate so that they can pay it back. But a lot of these kids are not aware. The school doesn't tell them. Their parents don't tell them. The bank doesn't tell them. I mean, my youngest boy is just turned 30 years old. We sent him to Penn State, but he did have to take school loans. But I made sure that they were something that he wasn't going to be saddled with for the rest of his life. So he had to get a job in the summertime to pay for things and do what's right. This country has fallen short, and in my opinion, of what's best for the generation that's going to be running our country on school loans. I mean, we don't teach this in school. You don't teach them how to balance a checkbook. You don't teach them the use of a credit card. I can tell you, and I'm sure Dean can tell you the same thing. When we were giving out mortgages, I'd say to him, well, wait a minute. Your debt to ratio income is this. If I give you a mortgage for this amount of money, but God forbid your kid needs braces or you lose your job for 3 months, they don't take into consideration when they give you the mortgage, the cable bill, the trash bill, the electric bill. Those ratios were so skewed. Well, the same thing is happening with our young adults. The ratios are so skewed with their school loans versus what they can truly pay back. And heaven help them if they can really get a job in their industry is the other problem. I mean, my son went to school for something entirely different and ended up being a financial advisor. And I'm like, oh my God, you were the worst kid with money I had. But this is and he's doing well with it, but it's something that, needs to be addressed, but I don't think we can just sweep it under the carpet. I don't know if Dean might know of some of the banks that were consolidating the loans. Do you know? I know Citizens supposedly was one of them.
No, I don't follow that. I'm not into student
Oh,
loan.
right. Okay. Oh, Dean, I thought you were going to help me out here.
I got some advice years ago from my mentor. He said, remember, Dean, you can't borrow your way out of debt.
Oh, there you go.
We see people taking more and more and more loans, and and the credit card situation.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Well, I can remember when I was younger, my father warned me, and he said, never put on your credit card what you can't pay back that month. And I didn't listen, and I got in trouble. And it was like, oh my God. I think it was like a lot of money to me in those days. And he sat down with me, man. He cut up every credit card, let me keep one, and faithfully had to pay that off. I have never done it again. Never. But they don't teach you that in school either, and nothing's for free in this life.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. Go ahead. John, you have a question?
Well, before I ask my question, I'll say my wife does the finances in our house, and when she has these discussions with our kids, it is spirited. Lisa, I wanted to ask you, what street in New Britain Borough did you grow up on?
Birch Road.
Birch Road, okay. All right. When I was very, very young, I lived on Keeley Avenue.
Oh, yeah. Not far.
Okay.
My mother used to call us the servants' quarters because it's a little development called Hillside Village.
Okay.
And everything is ranches. They're all ranches, most of them on slabs.
Yeah.
My dad bought the whole side of the street, but my God, I don't even think he paid between the property and the house $12,000 that long ago.
Yeah.
Now he could probably get $350,000 for it.
Yeah.
But he wants to pass away in his house, so I'm not forcing him to sell.
Okay.
Yeah, a nice little borough to be raised in, though.
Yep. Yeah.
Very community orientated,
Yeah.
which was great.
Definite. This has been a great classification talk. You've had an amazing journey, Lisa.
Thanks.
Kudos again. Any other questions for Lisa? Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Lisa.
Considering that I've never seen one before, and got thrown at me yesterday.
Yes.
Gotta love you there.
There you go. And not to, I know there's not an election, but not to skew our membership, but you would be an amazing membership chair. I'm just putting it out there, just in case there's anyone is thinking of running for membership chair. That would be a great position. So, but thanks once again, Lisa. You've become an awesome Rotarian. And speaking of new Rotarians, starting on June, where am I? On June 7th is Welcome to the World of Rotary, which is actually, it looks like Lisa has already registered for it. And if there are any Rotarians that are interested in going to an awesome, it's kind of a workshop, but it's a show and tell as well, all about Rotary. And I just put I'm sorry, that's the wrong link. That's the link for another meeting. But if you go to if you go to the district, District 7430, I believe, .org, there's a registration for the Welcome of World of Rotary, and that starts at 5:30. Go to the district website, events. If someone can go there real quick and throw that link in the chat, that'd be great. The link that I just put in is actually for next week's meeting, but I figured I mentioned the World of Rotary kind of because it's a teaser for what all a Rotary is. So it talks about the foundation, it talks about the different clubs. A lot of the stuff that Phil and Larry talk about in Rotary Trivia. If you Thanks, Bob. Bob just put the link for registration for the district website. Thanks. So you go to the district website, you go into events, and Welcome to the World of Rotary should be one of the most recent ones up there. And that's going to be on Monday, June 7th at 5:30. But it talks about a lot of different things that can kind of get your feet wet to let you know all about what Rotary is. And since we are starting to get back to some sense of normalcy, beginning next year, they're going to go back to doing RLI. I'm not sure if that's going to be in person, but that's the Rotary Leadership Institute, which gives you another dose of what Rotary is, but it's a more intensive presentation. So, and it's always good to attend those if you're thinking about being in leadership, or if you're on the board and you wanted to do a little bit more for the club. Definitely join those meetings. All right. So that was my thing for the time being.
So,
I'm gonna
can I
yeah,
interject
Gary.
something? So, we have something coming up here in Rotary next Saturday, okay, that a number of us are going to be playing for the Rotary Club, but for charities like the Garden Health and Chariots for Hope. And am I missing anything? I'm not sure, but Sandy's going to be playing. Chuck is going to be playing. Lisa, myself, we're going to be playing for these charities. We can win up to $5,000. This started as something to get Rotary out there in front of the people. So a number of you came last year to the tournament, which is this Saturday and there's different times. You can come at 8 o'clock, watch a round at 9:20 or 10:40, and you can watch a round that we play. Last year we won $1,000 because we came in third place. Brad Anderson and I for Johnny and I think it was, or was it Johnny and Friends, or was it Garden Health? I forget.
Johnny and Friends.
Was it Johnny and Friends?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, and
Was that Mac?
too. What am I saying? I forgot Marcia.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
How could I forget you, Marcia?
Nobody can forget me, I hope.
There you go. Gary, was that whack-a-mole? Was that whack-a-mole?
Whack and roll. Yes. Roll. No mole.
Okay.
Good one.
And explain what whack and roll is.
Well, you're hitting the croquet ball with a mallet and it rolls. Whack and roll. So anyway, and also Lisa investigated to see if there was any other Rotary connection to croquet, and she found a place in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, which is a little over 2 hours away. And a number of us are going to go out there and play for the Rotary Club out there. The Selinsgrove Rotary is the sponsor. And Lisa, myself, Sandy, and her husband Dwayne is going to be out there, and her Chuck. I'm forgetting Chuck. Chuck, are you going out there? I'm not sure, but Chuck will be on Saturday. If you want to see Chuck play, he's an excellent player. Everybody's got to watch him. But wear Rotary gear when you come out there. That's what this is meant for, to put Rotary out in front of people. There will be approximately, I'm going to say on the field there, there'll be almost 175 to 200 people. So it's a good time to advertise Rotary. Put your hat on. Jack Brent's coming up from North Carolina. He's going to watch the no virtual stuff though, Jack, sorry. But that's my plug for Saturday.
Excellent. Location?
Oh, yes. Thank you. It's the Mennonite Heritage Center on Yoder Road.
All right. So let's see. Oh, okay. Mark's not there. So how about I keep moving on to June 9th is our, no, sorry, Mark. June 9th is our next meeting, and it's actually going to be on a different link. And let me paste that in again. If you guys go to the link that I just put in the chat, make sure that you click on that to get your registration information, because you have to put, since this is going to be a district-wide event, we're trying to collect as much information from the attendees as we can. So that'll be June 9th. Go ahead.
Is there a way that if someone forgets or doesn't remember the link and they try to log on to this or click on this, that they'll get a message that tells them the correct one?
Yeah, I'll actually open that up on my phone or something and maybe put a slide up, please go
Right.
to that website. Yeah. So since I know we've been doing this for more than 50 weeks. I think this started, when did we start doing virtual? That was Gary's year. What was that? March or April? I think we've been doing this for 14 months. So yes, I know you guys are conditioned to go to 1984, but for next week's meeting, if you click on the link that I put in on the Harleysville Rotary website, it's on there as well, and I'll make sure to put in the reminder emails to go to that link as well. So far, we have about 5 different clubs represented for the presentation that the DEI committee, including a professor for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is one of our co-chairs. He's going to facilitate a conversation on diversity and making a welcoming and vibrant Rotary Club is kind of the gist of what the meeting's going to be about. So that's
Hey.
going to happen on June 9th. Go ahead,
Hey,
Marcia.
Dan, can you, when you send out your normal email reminder,
Yes.
can you put it in there?
Yes.
Because people, there's probably going to be people who are not aware. who
Right,
aren't
yes.
On today's call, or like me, will forget.
Right, yeah. And I'll do the reminder similar to the way I do it for this one, where it'll come out the end of this week, beginning of next week, and then Wednesday morning at midnight, I'll send another reminder out, so that if for you guys who wake up in the morning and go to your email, just click on that link that's going to be in the email itself. And that's going to be June
Thanks.
9th. Thank you, Marcia. Thanks for the reminder. And also June 15th, Quakertown is doing a similar presentation. So if you guys, their meeting is at 7:30. So if 7 is too early, Tuesday, June 15th, Quakertown is doing theirs. And June 29th is the district changeover. Bob, you're on. Is that is that going to be hybrid, or is that in person only?
That's in person only. You remember blackouts for sporting events? You've got to sell the tickets before you give it away for free.
There you go. There you go. All right. So is registration for that on the district website as well?
Yes, it is, and in fact, it's we're doing really well. We're about 70 people right now with a month to go. This is at Brookside Country Club, Lower Macungie Township. It'll be out in the open. If you have a problem with COVID separation or concerns, we'll be in the open with a big tent and a lot of wonderful guests. I'd love to see you folks come out and support.
Excellent.
Jack and Frank, you too.
There you go.
I'd love to be there.
And that was a figurative buy your ticket, right? Is
That's
it free?
figurative.
There you go.
No, it is not free.
It's not free. There you go. Okay.
No.
All right. I guess more information, you can get that on the website. And then our club changeover is going to be June 30th. And we're going to do our best to make that a hybrid event. So we'll have, I do have better technology. So we're going to be out at Reed Park on June 30th at 7 o'clock. For those who can make it there in person, come on by. We're under the I want to call it a gazebo, under the canopy. And for those who would still like to log in, it will be back at the normal link, at the 1984 link. I keep saying 1984. That's the last 4 digits of the Zoom ID. August 20th is the Big Red Rooster Scramble. I'm glad they shortened the title. Big Red Rooster Scramble. Tickets went on sale on June 1st. So definitely sign up for that. I believe it was $150 per person, around $500 for a foursome. All right. I see
I think it's
Lon and Frank.
115, I think.
115. Okay. I'm sorry.
115 per person.
Okay. All right. I was going to mention that. Frank and Lon, did you want to give any more information out about the Red Rooster Scramble?
We're actually meeting next Wednesday, the 9th. So we can update at our following meeting.
Excellent. Excellent. And Dean, October, you're still on October. We're doing something then as well, right? Can you give us a little more information about?
Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing the Halloween parade, followed up by a fun fest at the community center. We're selling 50/50 tickets, which is a good segue here. The tickets have been printed. We need to determine how we can get them out to people and what's a fair number to give to each Rotarian. It's they're $5 tickets, and it's going to be a 50/50. We ordered 5,000 tickets. We're doing this in conjunction with the Harleysville Rotary, the Harleysville Lions, and the community center.
Okay. And you're selling from now until November 1st. What's the time frame? Okay, until October. Right. So so for the next 4 months.
So what's realistic for each Rotarian? I'd like to hear some comments. Is it 20 tickets reasonable? Thoughts, anybody? If not, we'll make it 100.
Is that for each member to try to sell, Dean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think 25.
25 sounds good. And then we're bringing them into the meeting or wherever we're doing between now and when do you need, when does the collecting stop?
October.
October.
But we have them now. We like to get them out. I don't know what's the easiest way to get them out to everybody.
Oh, you mean like yesterday? The 30th no good? We're meeting in person on the 30th.
Well, we're trying to get some out before that.
Now.
We'll get some packets. Gary's going to have people at the whack and roll, so we can get some there.
Yeah.
I'll pick up mine Saturday.
There you go. What other in-person activities do we have coming up?
There's also the July 4th. There's also the concert Sundays.
Yes. So
we need a lot. Yeah, we need help out there. We really need a lot of volunteers for that.
Okay. No, Ashleys. The Ashleys are normally the contact for that. Is there anyone on that committee that can give us more information on how to sign up and that kind of thing? Is there anyone on the call that can help us out with that? Okay, let's reach out to Richie to see if we can put something on the website.
Is there nothing on the website yet, Dan?
Or
Larry, if Larry's still there.
Yeah, I don't think there's sign up yet, because that would have been an event for July 4th.
I think he did send out, because I know he did send out a request for was it like $25 a head or something, because we have to put up I think it's $250 ahead of time to get the concession, and then we get, of course, all the profit from the concession. So I know he asked because I had sent something to him, but I didn't know whether he put it on the link or not. It was just a general email that I got from him.
Okay.
He didn't stipulate an amount. It was a free will donation.
Right. Yeah. So once we firm that up at next board meeting, we can make sure we get all of that stuff out there, and that could be another opportunity to do the 50/50 with the board. I guess, Marcia, I'll have to give you a few new items to talk about during the board meeting. I know I've been lacking at that recently.
did you get the email I sent you yesterday with the agendas for you to?
Right. I'll add that in.
Yeah, and
Yes.
for all the other board members who are on here, I did send out the minutes from last month, although I realized I forgot to change the date on there because we actually met the third week instead of the second, so I'll correct that for the final. But just to the board members, I sent out the meeting minutes, so if you want to take a look, go ahead. And then I'll send the agendas later this week when Dan has them ready for me, right, Dan?
There you go. Later this week, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dean, is it possible, Dean, to have some packets or at least tickets and maybe envelopes or something, and members can stop by at the whack and roll? They don't have to, if they can just stop by, if they can't give the whole day or the morning or whatever, but they could stop by and pick up a pack of 25. Is that possible? That's just Saturday.
Right, but I have a conflict that day. I won't be there.
Okay.
My other thought was people could stop by the bank at any time.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Get a loan at the same time.
There you go.
Pay for those tickets.
You go to the bank.
It'll be a no doc loan, Lisa.
There you go. All right. The banker just hands you an
that would be a
envelope.
good thing. That would be a good thing to have on the website if that's going to be the case. Just sort of some hours, and if you want to pick yours up, go for it, or an email that goes out to everybody so that we all know that.
Yeah. Let's do that in an email.
I'll put the package together and get an email out.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Question for Marcia too. Marcia,
Yeah.
Is it possible to send out something? I don't know the best way to do it, but if you could send out, it's a good time of the year to send out the directory of our current membership and ask if anybody's wants to change their either their email or their phone, and probably in there put the one, like for people who have two or more cell phones or phone numbers or emails, what is their preferred one for Rotary, so that we have a contact with them and we don't get involved with their business or so on if they wanted something separate. I don't know if that's too involved, but it would be great if we could do that.
I can see what I can pull from our member list, and we can talk offline, Frank. I'll see what I can pull from the member list.
Okay, very good.
It should be in the profiles, the preferences.
What's that, Larry?
The preferences should be in the profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you do the Excel, when you do the Excel preferred contact and preferred phone, those are they will be columns.
Yeah.
So I can help you with that, Marcia.
Okay.
All right, no problem. All right. So
Dan, I have a question, quick
hey,
question
Moana.
about, good morning. 4-H fair, you mentioned last meeting 4-H fair in August. Is Harleysville Club is helping with that? And do you need more volunteers?
Oh, Dean, is Dean still on? 4-H. Oh, Dean
You
is,
can let me know next time. It's not urgent, but
yes.
I thought of
We do the parking for that, right?
Normally, yes.
And I'm planning on bringing a person from 4-H in to speak to us end of June, early July, in anticipation of that project, which is in August, correct? So we should have somebody talking about it then.
Right. And since you're on, that's good. Thanks for bringing that up, Moana. And thanks for jumping in, Mark, who just left the stage. So do you have any, Mark, do you have any upcoming speakers or a plea for speaker suggestions?
The plea right now, I had done 2 months programming and then just sat and relaxed, and it caught up with me. So I'm looking at June and July now, have a whole bunch of initial contacts, but if someone has a suggestion, I know Anna Holtman had contacted me and is looking at one, but if you have an idea for a speaker that you'd like, let me know. I put my email and my phone number in the chat earlier.
Right. And I'll resend that. Here we go.
Mark,
Yes.
I'm creating a speakers list for the district, and I will send to you 5 names.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, that'd be great. And being that we are hybrid now, I mean, they could be international speakers. Definitely. Yes. So we're at 8:03.